It's 17:30 GMT. This is 97.3 Citi FM, the election hub. You're welcome to Eyewitness News, broadcasting from our studios at Adabraka in Accra on this holiday edition of the show. My name is Umaru Sanda. Tonight I'm doing this with
Akosia Ochi.
And coming up over the next 90 minutes, over 40 demonstrators, including convener of the Democracy Hub Pressure Group, Oliver Baka-Vomawo, were arrested after 3 days of demonstration, which the police describe as lawless. We hear from their lawyers who are combing cells in Accra in search for them, and I mean police cells. Also coming up, and talking of demonstrations, freight forwarders at the Tema port to embark on a demonstration tomorrow over what they describe as unfair practices by shipping lines. We understand what their issues really are here on Eyewitness News. And later on the show, presidential aspirants disqualified by the Electoral Commission to head to the courts over that decision. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more on this and many other stories on Eyewitness News. And in
business community raises concerns over weekly port charges to curb rising cost of doing business.
That's in 15 minutes from the Citi Business Desk. And still on Eyewitness News, the National Democratic Congress, NDC, is currently in a meeting with stakeholders to convince them on the discrepancies that it talks about that has bedeviled the voter register according to its own research. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more on that and many other stories on Eyewitness News. We are live across Ghana on a number of affiliate stations, including Northeast region. We are on Nobia 98.1 FM in Nalirugu, in Upper East region on Quality 88.7 FM in Garu, in Northern region on Radio Gaki 88.3 FM in Saboba. In Volta region, we are on Heritage 107.3 FM in Hohwe. In Freedom, and also Sogakope, we are on Freedom 88.1 FM. In the Ashanti region, we are on Adwinpa 99.9 FM in Nkawie. If we go to the Bono region, we are live on Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyani. In the Western region, we are in Takrady on Beach 105.5 FM and Sky Power 93.5 FM. We are also in Takwa on Adwinpa 100.7 FM. The show is a very interactive one. Join us with your messages on 0549 986 996. That's a WhatsApp number, 0549 986 996. You can also go on Twitter, now known as X, and send me messages there via my handle at Umaru Sanda. You can also go to citinewsroom.com where you can listen to this live broadcast. Go to YouTube and Facebook and look for Citi FM. We are live there. Do join us, and we're grateful that you've joined us for Eyewitness News tonight. We start off with a demonstration that was scheduled to be on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Akosia has a story.
Yes, the Ghana Police Service has confirmed the arrest of Oliver Baka-Vomawo, convener of the Democracy Hub protest. Baka-Vomawo was taken into custody on Monday, September 23, 2024 for his alleged involvement in unlawful acts during the group's demonstration on September 21 to 22. Well, initially, the police had issued a statement declaring him wanted. Well, his arrest comes after two additional protesters from the Democracy Hub were also arrested by the police, and the pressure group has raised allegations of human rights abuses against the police.
These are unquestionably, undeniably human rights abuse. And the way the police have handled this entire process, we can sit here and talk about, the protesters did this and the protesters did that, but that's taking like a narrow view. Let's take a step back. You had noticed 3 months ago, if you had genuine concern, if this wasn't a bad faith attempt, 3 months ago, 3 months, if this wasn't a bad faith attempt by the police to stifle the right to protest, why would you go for an ex-party injunction the day before? Not unnoticed, in order to give the protesters an opportunity to come and justify why they should be allowed to protest. You go backdoor ex-parte to get this injunction a day before the protest. Then you make arrests, you brutalize these people on camera. We can see people just standing around, you arrest them for no reason, beat them up, deny them access to legal representation. This is a wide spectrum of human rights abuses. And last year when these things happened, I know senior justice took the matter to court, to the Human Rights Court. It hasn't been determined yet. It's still in the court process. And this year we intend to do the same thing. As a matter of fact, I think that we have to take action in a way that sort of puts the police on notice that they won't get away with it.
That was Prince Ganaku. He's one of the lawyers representing the Democracy Hub pressure group.
We'll be speaking to him again. That was an interview done earlier. We'll speak to the lawyers for the Democracy Hub group. But for now, let's go on the phone lines and speak to Fred Duho. He is the man from the Citi Newsroom who has been covering the demonstration for us since Sunday. In case you were busily enjoying your weekend, there have been a lot of protesting happening in Accra, which caused massive gridlock. Fred Duho was in the thick of affairs covering the events for us. He's joining us on the line. Fred, you're welcome to Eyewitness News. So take us to Saturday and walk us through Sunday to today, the major highlights.
Well, the Saturday morning, actually, the protesters were quite few. They came out at as early as 8:30 a.m. They were on the street, basically around the 37 runabout. And over there, we saw the engagement that the leader of the protesters, Bakavomao, actually had with some of the senior police officers. And to the effect that when you listen to their conversation, he had this conversation with them, basically asking permission and demanding that certain roads leading to the runabout be blocked so they can also protest. Initially, they actually issued a notification to the police indicating or listing certain things they want to demonstrate on. And the police actually went back and forth with the leaders of the demonstrators on the areas they should convene. But the police gave them 7 areas which the demonstrators said they are not okay with. They insisted on starting at the 37 runabout. And so on Saturday, as early as 8:30, they were there in their numbers. The police kept giving them the notice, and by so doing, they were issuing statements and also updating their social media handles as to what they want the demonstrators to do. But that were not issues communicated to them on the ground, at least with what I observed. The very first day, I saw this senior police officer. I think his rank, I can't recall it, but I know him as Suraj. And Bakavoma actually engaging and also engage other senior police officers, asking them to block the roads for them so they can protest. They were asking the police to also lead them to the presidency. But the police, the night before, actually blocked major roads leading to the presidency. So the protesters were not going to gain access to the presidency in any way. They gathered also at the 37 runabout, like I mentioned earlier, which is against what the police had communicated to them. So the police kept dialoguing with them, asking them not to do what they are about to do over there. But the protesters also wouldn't take any of that. We were there for about 1 hour to 2 hours when we realized that Oliver Bakavoma drove a truck, which I presume like this kind of truck that is used to store cold, like a cold store on the wheel. And he brought it in there trying to block the main road. And he actually used it to block vehicles that were heading towards the Burma camp area. Then they proceeded to block the vehicles that are heading from Burma camp area towards the Jowlu side. Then they again blocked vehicles that were coming from the Tetekwashi runabout heading towards Accra. So in actual fact, the entire intersection was blocked. Vehicles had no option than to turn, or drivers had no option than to turn, and then the police were also helping them to find alternative routes. So the congestion was quite massive on the very first day. The police managed to clear the road. As at 2 to 3 p.m., we realized that the road was quite clear. They still insisted on going to the presidency. The police wouldn't have any of that. So they also purchased footballs, about 3 or 4, and then they started to entertain themselves at the intersection. So they played football throughout Saturday. And so this is basically what happened on the very first day. In the evening of that Saturday, the police issued a statement giving notice that they are going to use a different approach. By so doing, they are going to de-escalate what is happening at the 37 runabout. For the protesters, their intention was basically to protest for 3 good days: Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So Sunday, they started showing up again. I got there a bit late. I got there around 9:50 a.m. By that time, videos that I watched from other colleague journalists indicated that Oliver Bakavomao actually confronted the police officers. But what brought the confrontation was that they had this vehicle this pickup truck we call the Abuso Kaim Macho, that small truck, which they had their sound system, water, and placards. That particular vehicle was brought there on Saturday as well. So the Sunday morning, they brought that same vehicle, parked it in the median or under the trees over there. And what we noticed was that the police went in with a towing vehicle, trying to tow that particular car from that location. And then the protesters also confronted them, preventing the police from doing so. Then, in the same video, we saw Oliver Bakavomao made a move out of the crowd where the police are, and then went straight to turn off the ignition of the police towing vehicle, and then took to his heel, and then suddenly threw the key into the bush over there and managed to hop onto a motorbike and then bolted. So he actually escaped the arrest that happened on Sunday. So the police came prepared with a formed police unit, officers, and they were there in their numbers. Over 100 policemen were there yesterday, and they were in their gear. They came with their protective gear and everything, with the mindset to basically ensure that what happened on Saturday, the roadblocks and everything, do not happen on a Sunday. And so they managed to arrest a group of people on that Sunday morning, about 35 per my count. But later in the evening, the police issued a statement and said they had arrested 42 people. So they did a swoop in the morning, which is arresting about some 20 in the morning, and then did another 20 in the afternoon around 4 p.m. And that one included the very popular Ama governor and a number of other Face the Country protesters and leaders. So the whole of Sunday was basically to de-escalate the entire situation, which the police, I may say from my observation, they've succeeded in doing. They cleared the road and ensured that traffic flowed from all angles, except for vehicles heading towards the presidency, who are supposed to use the frontage of the 37 military hospital. Now, one good thing they always do is that vehicles that are coming with emergencies heading towards the 37 hospital were all allowed in. Even on Saturday, despite the roadblocks by the demonstrators themselves, when they see an ambulance coming, they pave way for the ambulance to make its way to the hospital. So that alone, I can put on record, happened on Saturday, Sunday, and even today. Now, on the third day, which is today, in the morning, one would have thought that the demonstrators will not show up. I was there as early as 8 to 9 a.m. and I even filed the first report indicating that the police were just relaxing because the demonstrators were not in sight. Earlier, the police had actually declared Oliver Bakavomao wanted. So one would expect that he will show up with a different group of people basically to come and protest, because when you follow him on social media, he's been charging his followers and a number of people to equally show up. And that was when people showed up on Sunday afternoon and they were equally picked up. So today, we realized that these gentlemen, two of them, I saw them, they've been there for more than an hour, standing on the pavement close to the 37 lorry station, and they've been there. You see their movement going up and down. Now, there is, the police had cameras all around. So they have these 360 cameras that are right there. They see from their control room, the police they have their own cameramen equally working on the ground. They have drone flying all over the entire place, trying to take footages of whatever is happening and equally identifying and picking their own intelligence as far as this entire protest is concerned. And so these two gentlemen that I'm making reference to also showed up. When they realized that they were standing there for quite too long, around 8 p.m., they boldly walked with placards to the intersection where the police and city officers were trying to direct traffic to move, and they went to stand in the traffic. I must say, due to their presence there, a Benz car actually hit the back of a motor rider, but that was not anything that really caused any serious damage or injury. But that brought a bit of the vehicles to a standstill where the police managed to let traffic flow. So when their actions, or they were trying to gain attention, they started speaking to the media, indicating that they are not happy with the arrest of their people. They are equally not happy with the state of affairs and the fact that Galamsey is destroying the environment and the water bodies, and people are not really paying much attention to it. They were making all these comments and registering their displeasure with how things were going, and then the police walked in and then picked these two protesters as well, and that has been the arrest that happened today, bringing to the total number of people arrested, including Oliver Bakavomao, that they issued a statement to announce his arrest, bringing the total number to 45 of protesters of the Democracy Hub that have been arrested by the police so far. Later in the afternoon, the IGP, Dr. Ekufu Dampari himself, showed up in a mufti, basically there to, as it were, have a bit of chat with his men, congratulate them probably for a good job done. And so he did that briefly, waited for about 40 minutes, and then left the scene. So this has been the situation from Saturday, Sunday, and today being Monday.
Fred, just a quick summary that you've done. In fact, a brilliant summary, I should say, but a quick information that I need from you. The demonstration, what was it for? What was the initial communication by the demonstrators, and what was the communication on demonstration day?
Sandra, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. So I'm asking, what was the demonstration for? Was it on governance like they did last year? Was it on the economy, or it was on Galamsey? What was their sole focus? And that would be seen in their communication before the demonstration, and also what they wrote on their placards.
The latter, as you announced or just narrated, has been their focus, which is the governance, unemployment issues. The former, as you noted, has been the unemployment issues, the hard economic conditions, and generally democracy in the country as far as the constitution is concerned. A number of issues were raised. Reading from cover to cover, it is quite obvious. There's nowhere they mentioned Galamsey or illegal mining per their petition to the police, giving them notice to protest. But here is the thing. They got to the ground on the very first day, and all the placards they came with had inscriptions, "Stop Galamsey Now," and communicating issues pertaining to Galamsey. So they shifted totally from the focus, which is the notice they gave to the police on the basis upon which they want to protest, go to the ground, and then the Galamsey became the main focus. So generally, when I spoke to some of them, and I even spoke to Bakavomao, I asked them this specific question, that are you not trying to just take advantage of the mere fact that CSOs, churches, and church leaders, and even media houses like we are doing currently, and calling for the Galamsey menace to stop? Are you not trying to take advantage of this and then ride on your own interest? And he noted that no, it is because, one, they can change their mind at any time in terms of the subject or focus of their protest, and that one, they are not binded by that. I mean, the law does not really say that you can't change your decision to protest based on a certain objective, even in the last hour. That one, they can choose to demonstrate on whatever issue that is confronting them as a people as of now. So changing the subject was not an issue for them.
Okay.
Then again, I asked him, if indeed Galamsey is the focus, why would you even choose to go to the presidency and not rather engage other CSOs as far as these issues are concerned? And his answer has been that almost everyone has been asleep this while, and they believe that it is time for them to awaken the spirit of the Ghanaian, especially the youth, to rise up and then send a clear message to the president that he has all it takes to fight Galamsey now, and that is why they changed their focus from the issues they listed to the police to the illegal mining and destruction of our forests and the water bodies.
Okay, and now on the routes, did the police initially prevent the demonstrators from going on the demonstration, or the police said it would not allow them to demonstrate in front of the Jubilee House? And what was the issue with the 37 military hospital area? Is it the case that the police granted them a certain part of the road and they ended up blocking all the roads, or the police themselves, put up barricades to block some of the roads? Tell us what happened on Saturday.
Of all the places that the police listed as a suggestion to the demonstrators or the leaders of this particular protest, nowhere did they mention the 37 runabout or intersection as part of the places they can convene and then to proceed with their demonstration. So for the police, any assemble at any of the places outside the 7 places they have suggested to the demonstrators is an assembly of people who are trying basically to go against the laws of this country. So the police will not have any of that. And now the police, the night before Saturday, which is Friday night, issued a statement. They followed it with an action, and that action being that they went ahead to block certain major roads leading to the presidency. One would ask, the police stated that they were going to, they actually announced to the motoring public to take notice that certain roads have been blocked across the city. But to be honest, all the roads that they said have been blocked were all leading to the presidency. So you can deduce from this and conclude that the police were basically preventing the protesters from using any route towards the presidency. So the roadblocks were done by the police a night before. So when the protesters also got to the 37 hospital, if you remember, most of the previous demonstration organized by this particular group, the Seize the Country group, and other protests that were led by Oliver Bakavomao, the assembly point has always been the 37 lorry station area. And so that is where they announced to their followers to meet. And so assembling there at that particular moment was, in my own word and view, I think was an unlawful decision taken, for which the police considered them as defiant to their directive, not to assemble at any of the places they have chosen other than the 7 that they suggested to the protesters.
So it means that when they assembled at 37, the police came afterwards. The police were not there waiting for them like police personnel usually do on demonstrations. The demonstrators went before the police arrived. And what happened to the block?
So the demonstrators got there. The police were there, but they barricaded, they used the crash barriers to block the road leading to the presidency. So if you know 37 very well, it has 4 major routes connecting to that particular intersection. The route from Jowulu heading towards the runabout is free. The road from Accra Mall heading towards Accra is free. The road from Bema Camp heading towards Jowulu is free, except for the road that is right in front of the 37 military hospital. That one was blocked by the police They were stationed there before the demonstrators got there.
And which ones did the demonstrators themselves block?
The demonstrators now took the decision to block the other three. And so vehicles that were coming from Jolu towards the intersection would now have to turn and then go back on the opposite side. And vehicles that were coming from the Accra Mall towards the intersection would now have to turn right towards Jolu. Vehicles that were coming from the Bema Camp area would also, those lanes are dual lanes. So you now have to turn and then use the opposite side of the road and head back to towards the Lands Commission area.
Okay.
So in effect, if you are coming from Bema Camp, you would make a U-turn and go back towards the Lands Commission or Bema Camp.
Okay.
If you are coming from Jowlu, you will make a U-turn and head back towards Jowlu.
Okay.
If you are coming from
I get a picture. Just quick one before you go. Was Vomo arrested at the place today? Did you see him today?
No, he didn't show up at the scene at all. So we presume now that the police actually picked their own intelligence and got him arrested.
As of the time you were leaving there this afternoon, were there still, people who were planning to demonstrate, or all the demonstrators have essentially been rounded up and taken away?
As of the time I was leaving, the two men who were so daring enough to confront, or basically to stand in the intersection and stand in front of the police to show them their placards, those two were the people that were basically arrested today by the police.
No, I mean, did you see other people there who were waiting to demonstrate?
No, except those two.
But were the police and their barricades still there?
They are still there as we speak.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. That's Fred Duho. He's my colleague here in the newsroom, City Newsroom. He has been covering that demonstration for 3 days. Let's speak to Prince Ganaku. He's a lawyer, one of the many lawyers representing the group Democracy Hub protesters. He's joined us, and I say you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you very much for having me, Umar.
So I describe you as one of the many lawyers because I've seen a letter that Oliver shared on his Facebook addressed to the Inspector General of Police. It's on the letterhead of Lawyers for Protest Defense.
Yes.
And he says that in that letter they are asking the IGP to furnish them with information on where all the arrested persons are. Are you a member of that group, or you also operating at a different group?
Yes,
okay.
I am.
Okay, great.
Yes,
so talk to us about what you've been doing on the legal side of things.
Well, so our first point of call has been to try and get bail for the protesters. Now, as you know, the police have a maximum of 48 hours to hold them, but it is not set in stone that the police have to wait the entire 48 hours. Reasonableness and a reasonable exercise of discretion would dictate that if there is good cause to grant them bail, then bail should be granted. It shouldn't be withheld as a means to punish them for whatever crime it is the police believe that they have committed. So that's the first thing. Now, in our attempt to get them bail, we engaged with the regional commander and we engaged with the deputy regional commander and the regional crime officer initially to try and get a sense of where the people have been taken and who they have arrested. This morning, they declined to give us a list of the people that have been arrested. They also declined to give us the list of locations where they have been taken to quote the deputy regional commander directly. He said we should go and roam the streets of Accra, and if we find them, fine. If we don't find them, he doesn't care. So that's the second thing. Now, as you rightly noted, there are a number of lawyers with Lawyers for Protest Defense. A lot of them have been on the grounds today. The reports that I have been getting are that when they go to the police stations, what they are told is that there's an order from above that they should not be granted access to the persons who have been arrested and detained, and that the details of the persons who have been arrested and detained should also not be released to the people. So now you have a situation where, in principle, the police administration agrees that these arrested persons have a right to legal representation, but they have intentionally made it impossible for these same people to access legal representation. The tactic they have used is to get the people and spread them across police stations all over the city. We are hearing that some people have been taken as far as Ayimensa, others have been taken to Tema and other locations. So as it stands, we know that we won't get we have been told that we won't get bail for the arrested and detained persons today, and that they will arraign them before court tomorrow. in order to determine the matter of bail and the next steps. And I should add finally that when we asked them which court they will be arraigning the people before, they also declined to give us that information and told us that they would give us that information tomorrow morning at 9. So we have a situation where legal counsel for the arrested and detained persons is going to have to go to the courts to make an application for bail without having first even conferred with the client. And all of these things are things that the police administration is intentionally doing to frustrate, torture, or, otherwise punish the people for exercising their rights to demonstrate against this Galamsey menace.
So as we speak, do you at least have an idea of the number of people who were arrested? So how many clients are you representing? Do you know?
We only know what the police have told us. We have specifically identified anywhere between 13 to 15 people. We can say that, okay, we know where Amagovernor is, we know where Delakwashi is, we know where Felicity is. So we know where certain people are. The police administration, I think either yesterday evening or early this morning, said that they had arrested 42 people. We know that some other people were arrested in addition to them. So we estimate that about 46 persons are currently in custody, but we don't have a firm number.
So your move for tomorrow would be to what? Go to all the district magistrates in Accra or the circuit courts and wait to see if they will show up? Is that your plan?
Yes, the plan is to wait, because they said that they'll get back to us at 9 o'clock. So the plan is to wait, keep our ears on the ground and see where they will be taken. So we will convene in the morning at Accra Central, trying to figure out where the people will be taken to. We'll have our lawyers also go and stand guard at the police station so that when they are leaving, we will know where the people are.
The people you represent, did they not engage in bad faith where they are not supposed to necessarily get the permission of the police, but they are supposed to notify the police? There's a custom where you agree with police on areas to demonstrate and engage in your picketing and all the mass actions are. Now, considering that, according to the police, they became lawless, took the law into their own hands. For instance, what they did on Saturday, is that not an excess of the freedom that they are entitled to?
Umar, so before I answer your question, could you please clarify the what they did on Saturday?
So what I have been told by a reporter, which the police found issue with, which was listed, was that they blocked the roads, which they do not have authority to, so that the vehicles were unable to move. The police blocked one side. They blocked the remaining ones. 2, they engaged in playing of football. That's another thing that the police talked about in the intersection, which was not agreed. 3, they prevented people who are sick from going to hospital at the 37 military hospital. And also, they prevented emergency services from providing emergency services. Ambulance service, for instance, could not go through. That's also another thing that the police described. And lastly, they banned party paraphernalia, more precisely the New Patriotic Party effigies and flags that they decided to ban. The police listed these things. These things were unlawful, weren't they?
No, I wouldn't agree. So let's take whether the things that you have described are unlawful. Let's take whether it's unlawful, whether it actually happened, and whether even if they happened, the police have a right to treat the protesters that way. So I was there on Saturday. The police were the ones who blocked the stretch. Actually, when I was going I had to park and take an Okada from airport because the police were not allowing us to, even though I had said that I was counsel for the protesters. It was the police that had barricaded the stretch from airport leading up to the 37. So, and there's nothing, it was the police, but actually, this is personal experience, like first-hand information. When I got there, it was the police that had blocked everywhere. It wasn't the protesters. That's the first thing. The second thing is, we are tunnel visioning. That's what is happening here. So let's take a step back and let's look at the bigger picture. What actually happened? 3 months ago, the police were notified that Democracy Hub wants to hold a demonstration. 3 months ago, a day before the demonstration, the police goes backdoor, sneaks to get an ex parte injunction. They could have gone on notice to afford, if this was in good faith, they would have gone on notice to afford Democracy Hub the opportunity to tell the court that, oh, this and this and this are the reasons why you want to hold our demonstration. If this was in good faith, they would have done it in the 3 months ago. They could have done it 2 months ago. They could have done it early this month, but they waited and did it a day before. So this you see, when somebody engages in bad faith, we begin by assessing the other side's response to the bad faith. We do not take the other side's response out of context. You engage in this bad faith, come and block the road so that no car is passing. So at the intersection where they were playing allegedly playing the football, there was no car passing. It's not like there were cars passing and they were playing football, blocking the car. That's not what happened. If there was any ambulance that couldn't make it through, it was because the police had barricaded the place. Last year, ambulances went through. So what happens this year that the same demonstrators will not let ambulances through? You understand? So that's the second thing. One, I do not buy this argument by the police that the protesters were engaged in unlawful activities. We have seen videos. The video in which our governor was arrested, they were literally just standing there. This morning, the two people that were arrested, Cedric and Michael, they were literally just talking to the police, holding their placards. Even if they were shouting at the police, was it an offense? Is it written anywhere that thou shalt not shout at the police in our criminal legislation? Is that a reason to arrest someone? If they are burning party paraphernalia in a place where there is no car passing, there is no danger of fire spreading, they just burn the party paraphernalia on the floor. Does that require that they be arrested? Is that an offense somewhere? Is it destruction of state property? Is MPP party paraphernalia state property? No. So let's take that second question. Let's put that aside. Then that leaves the third question of whether even if everything the police are alleging is true, does it justify the arrest of these people, spreading them out intentionally across all the police stations across the city to specifically make it difficult for their legal counsel to arrest and to provide them with legal counsel? Is that good faith? Is that good faith? No, it's not. It's not.
Very well. Thank you for speaking to us, sir.
All right.
That's Prince Ganaku. He's a lawyer for members of the Democracy Hub who have been protesting but who have been arrested by the police, including their leader, Oliver Barker-Vormawor. This Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. When we come back, another demonstration is imminent. That was happening tomorrow. It's by freight forwarders in Tema. We will tell you why. Please stay.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Hi Aku, I just got the estimate for the home repairs. It's more than we expected. I'm really stressed about where to find the money.
Why worry, Musa? You are a salaried worker. Haven't you heard about the GCB personal loan promo? They can give you up to 700,000 Ghana cedis in less than 24 hours at a significantly reduced interest rate and fees.
Really? This sounds exciting, but is it easy to apply?
Super easy. Skip the stress. Get the cash with the GCB personal loan promo with a 1-month repayment holiday. Just visit a GCB bank branch near you or call 0302-634-922. Toll free 0800-422-422. No hassle, no stress.
Wow, I just got a notification. The loan is already in my account. That was fast.
Skip the stress and get the cash you need with GCB personal loan. Visit a branch near you today. Terms and conditions apply. GCB Bank, your bank for life.
Oh, jump on now. Go. Google me. At what time will you come back where I don't hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car?
No, I don't change my car. It be the same right. It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so.
This is the type of fuel where they want to. Because now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I'll go drive, sir.
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mindset be the 3-in-1 action. No, Excellium they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open there.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, then make a finish my gobe fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my gobe inside?
I give you info. Make a feel the gobe too small.
Go, the gogo.
Joe Pana. Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
The Births and Deaths Registry beckons all of us to forge a future where every death is duly recorded and every Ghanaian life is cherished and remembered. To help capture these moments, registration is absolutely free up to 10 days after losing a loved one. For registration of deaths, make sure to have a medical certificate of cause of death or the coroner's report. Remember that registering deaths is not just a formality, but a way to cherish the memories of those we hold dear and leave a lasting legacy for future generations. This may seem like a small step, but its impact on the entire community is immense. Our offices are open from Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. This message is brought to you by Births and Deaths Registry under the Ministry of Local Government, Decentralization and Rural Development, supported by the Public Sector Reform for Resource Project and the World Bank. Call 030-394-41222 or visit www.pdr.gov.gh for further details. From the first cry to bidding farewells, everyone counts. Register now.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. This Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Let's go to Tema. Eddie Akron is former president of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders. You're welcome to Eyewitness News here.
Thank you very much, Umar, for having me.
So we're not done with one demonstration in Accra. You are also planning another demonstration. What is your demonstration about? And who are joining you?
Ours has been in the pipeline for a long time. Anyway, so this one is got to do with the shipping lines and their borrowing charges, fees and charges in our ports. And so this has been done by all freight forwarding associations, the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, the Customs Brokers Association of Ghana, Freight Forwarders Association of Ghana, and then ACHAC, the Association of Customs House Agents, and also all traders, importers and exporters in Ghana. And so this is what it is about. It is against the shipping lines of Ghana and how we have been treated all this while.
How have they been treating you?
So, Maru, to cut a long story short, you see, when you pay freight into this country for any cargo, every shipping line that comes into this country knows the custom of the port, that this is how much stevedore I'm going to pay, this is how much handling charges is going to cost, this is how much fuel is going to take for me to bring these boxes to Ghana. All of this is factored into the freight, okay? So when they get to Ghana, the agreement on these bills of lading says, look, take my box to a container yard. So from container yard to container yard. So once the boxes get here, we are done. The Ports Authority handles it, we pay them, and then that's it. Our freight should take care of it. But no, it doesn't end there. Now they are taking all these fees from us, and they keep coming up with new ones every day. There's a short history behind it. Back in the 80s, when our ports didn't have, the right equipment to handle, containerization, the minister at the time, I think this was in Kwesi Boche's time, gave them a certain leeway that, okay, if they were going to use their own stevedoring companies, then we should allow them to charge a small fee, because then it was going to help us decongest the ports. And so that was fine. Fast forward, that $10 fee or so that they were given, that leeway they were given, has metamorphosed into a whole new thing, and it's become a major source of business for them. And these fees, we know, are illegal. It will cost you almost 1,000 USD to pay, just to release a 40-footer container from a shipping line now. Why is that so? And then they have all these hidden strange charges, empty container fee, transport charges, cleaning charges. It is not right. And this has to stop.
So your demonstration is not against government, it's against private companies.
This is against the shipping line.
Why don't you boycott them or possibly go on a strike, that would work better than going on a demonstration. Explain to me how a demonstration can help fix this, please.
So we are calling the attention of, okay, Ghana is a sovereign state, and so our laws should be able to stop them from doing so. But then they have gone behind all of that and doing what they want to do. Okay, so boycotting them is another thing. Why would you boycott them? You go out, you want to ship something, your company picks up the thing, you have paid for it. He comes here and turns around, holds your hand behind your back because he knows your goods are still in his custody and says, I won't give it to you unless you pay me these charges, which we know is a double charge. He's already charged you for it.
Can they explain that is a global economic challenge that is making them do this? Would that not be a good explanation?
No, that is not the reason. Even the US of A has actually stopped them. If you go online and check out, there are a lot of countries now that have going against the shipping lines because of these, false practices. Okay, it is time we stop this thing. It is not right.
Now, next question would be, who regulates your space and what have they said or done about this?
Okay, so all of this comes under the purview of the Ministry of Transport. We have done several. Look, my predecessors, I should say maybe about 4 or 5 of them way back, if I don't have to mention names. I have several letters on files there that will show we have made several attempts at doing this. One day they are asked to stop it, the next day they are back on it. And so, look, the time has come. Somehow, this has to see the end. You understand? We have to see the end of this.
Tomorrow, you're going to demonstrate, and then what next?
So, it's going to be a continuum, because at this point, my favorite musicians, McFadden, will say, ain't no stopping us now. We have to see the end of this thing. At some point, it has to stop. Okay? It cannot continue. Because this is actually hurting the Ghanaian economy. Look, all these monies, these guys do not work on weekends, but they will charge you demurrage fees for weekends. You can imagine if your goods arrive on, say, an Easter Thursday, then forget it. Because if they're giving you 7 days free for demurrage, they are not working on the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. All of those things will be factored into the 7 days that they have given you. You understand? Which is just an unfair practice. Because we have the laws of Ghana actually tell you how days should be counted when it comes to business. They have forgone all of that. They are they're using exchange rate differentials, which are not, offered by the Bank of Ghana. Every week, the Bank of Ghana says, okay, this is the rate that's going to be. They ignore that rate and they have their own exchange rates that they take. What happens to all these monies that they collect? At the end of the day, they change all the monies, they mop up all the USD, forex in the system, and it's taken out of the country. This is, has a very huge blot on our forex issues, and we've asked government severally to look at this and investigate it. It's a serious matter, my brother.
Very well. Thank you. We'll be there. It's at Tema, right?
Yes, Tema.
Okay, which area? So that
at 10 a.m. in the morning, we'll start from the GIF compound, and then we'll go around to the shipping line offices in Tema.
And the police have agreed to be with you, right?
The police have agreed because we have postponed this for about 3-4 times. All at the behest of the police that it wasn't time. But then they say tomorrow the time is right. So 10 a.m. we're all gathering at the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders compound, and then we'll take it from there.
Thank you so much, and don't get arrested. Thank you for speaking to us. That's Eddie Akron. He's former president of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders. They are planning a demonstration tomorrow. This Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are coming to you from our studios in Adabraka in Accra. There are 2 other issues we are looking at here on Eyewitness News. One has to do with a meeting that the NDC is having with a number of stakeholders in relation to the electoral roll, the complaints that the NDC has been making. That's one issue. Also, the presidential aspirants who were disqualified, they have planned to go to court. One of them is my own senior from Tema Secondary School, Samuel Apia Dankwa. He was leading a group called Yellow Ghana. He was intending to file as an independent candidate. The Electoral Commission, after returning the verdict on the applications, said he was one of the over 10 people who were not, actually 10 people who were not qualified. They are not happy. 11 actually. Sami, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you very much, Umaru.
So the EC says you are disqualified because your running mate didn't have a tax clearing certificate. I think one of the reasons that was given. It is as clear as that. It's a requirement. You didn't meet it. And they also said there were some document inconsistencies in the signatures that you provided. If that's a requirement and you failed, that's it. And especially when the EC has said that it gave ample opportunity and time to other people to rectify their problems that were identified.
Umaru, the issue is so embarrassing. I don't even know what to make of it. The EC lied. The EC lied. I'm a very thorough person. The EC lied. You know, the EC lied. We submitted Niafua's tax clearance certificate. I sent a copy via WhatsApp and delivered a hard copy to the EC myself. The EC lied. You know, it's just so embarrassing. You know, it paints us as very unserious people. You know, it's almost as though we just decided we wanted to, you know, vow for the presidency, you know, because we had some loose money lying somewhere. But for every candidate, I mean, we had a meeting today. For all the candidates that wanted, you know, to be part of this process, you could see the one thing that ran across everybody, you know, all the contestants, was that we were all very serious people. We all knew, and most of those who were part of this had gone, you know, the extra mile. For example, I had actually, instead of 2 people per district, I had 6 people per district, you know, and others went the extra mile. I mean, today was such an eye-opener. All the other independent candidates and some party candidates that met, you know, that were part of the meeting today, you know, I mean, the EC should not be determining, you know, they shouldn't be the ones stopping people from, you know, voting for their preferred candidate. They should be facilitators, you know, and regulators to some extent, you know, but not blocking people's fundamental rights. It's so unfair. It's all, you know, and we have, you know, the funny thing is that we have this in black and white. We have WhatsApp messages. We delivered hard copies. So I don't know where this is even coming from. And to blatantly lie on national television, to embarrass us to that extent, we feel so disrespected. You know, I got notice of being disqualified from a friend in the media before we had official letters. That's how bad it was. You know, and if you listen to every candidate and the documents they have, you can see that the EC deliberately decided to sideline all of us. For whatever reason, I have no idea.
So what is this plan in the court? Which court are you going to go to and to say to the court to do what?
Well, we have left that to our lawyers, but basically we have an ironclad case. We have an ironclad case. There is, unless of course there are higher powers who would, you know, deprive us of the opportunity of, you know, staking, you know, letting the Ghanaians know what other options are available. There's no reason why this wouldn't be overturned. I mean, if you're on TV as an EC boss, and then you say that Samuel Dankwa did not, you know, tender the tax clearance certificate of his vice presidential candidate, on at 9:24 on Friday, September 13th, I sent a soft copy to Mr. Samuel Kwa, who is the, I think he's the Deputy Director of Electoral Services at the EC. And before 5 o'clock that same day, I brought a hard copy to your office. And more than 10 days later, you tell, no, more than 7 days later, you're on national television, painting me as an unserious person. I mean, my goodness. It's so sad. You have no idea how I felt about it. I was at my in-laws' wedding, and it was really sad. I mean,
you were embarrassed in the presence of your in-laws.
Unfortunately, yes. Because I mean, why? Thank you. So, I mean, why would you tell such a lie? Like, we have all the documents.
It's okay. It's okay on the lies. We can. I think you've said enough of the lies.
Right,
I didn't want you to use lies, but you've used enough. I think it's enough to we'll wait to hear from the EC, but maybe in court when you appear there eventually. Thank you for speaking to us, and sorry about that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I was hoping that a Temascan would be on the ballot. Sadly, sorry. Samuel Apia Dankwa, Yellow Ghana movement as a group that he was heading, hoping to be presidential candidate. The Electoral Commission has shut the door on him and 10 other persons that the EC thought were not qualified to be on the ballot paper. Meanwhile, the ballot paper, though, if everything remains the way it is going to have as many as 13 persons on there. 4 of them are independent candidates, 9 are representing political parties. Number 1 on the ballot is Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia of the NPP, and number 8 on the ballot is John Dramani Mahama representing the NDC. Alan Chemartin is at the bottom of that ballot as number 13 with an independent candidate. This Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. This is the election hub. Akusia, you have some other issues relating to the NDC, don't you?
Yes, and the party is meeting with various stakeholders on discrepancies in the 2024 voter register. Well, according to the party, the meeting has become necessary after what they described as an unproductive engagement with the Electoral Commission. Well, we'll keep an eye on that meeting with the CSOs and other stakeholders and bring you updates on our subsequent bulletins.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Choboy! We have a new leader in town. Obiarenti. Amafo. Madam was Sibebre. When him say my baby, maybe more charcoal for whiter teeth. More charcoal. Not only that, maybe lemon. More lemon. Zinc for fresher breath. More zinc. And fluoride for stronger teeth.
Introducing the new President Charcoal packed with more power with a combination of charcoal and lemon for naturally whiter teeth. Grab yours now. This advert is FDA approved.
It's time to dream big. The Public Employment Center near you can help unlock the potential of your business. Are you starting a business, looking for the right job, or seeking guidance on your career path? The Labor Department got this.
Empower your dreams. The future is bright. The Labor Department is guiding your light. Empower your dreams. The future is bright. Your Labor Department is doing things right.
The Labor Department office in Ghana is dedicated to promoting fair labor practices, protecting workers' rights, supporting job placements, empowering individuals, and empowering female business owners through its services and initiatives. Empower your dreams. Make them come true. Your Labor Department has free business coaching for micro business owners or entrepreneurs. Visit the Public Employment Center in Accra, adjacent Kempinski Hotel, or call 053-9165-608 today to register for free business coaching on entrepreneurship, financial literacy, digital marketing, etc. The Labor Department, your free employment services provider.
Oh, jump on now. Go. Google me. At what time when you come back, we are not hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car?
No, I not change my car. It be the same ride. It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so.
This is the type of fuel where they want to. Because now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir.
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mind, Seth, be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium, they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open them.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, then make a finish my go be fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my go be inside?
I give you info. Make a feel the go be too small.
Go, the go.
Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.
Time now for Citi Business News and Eyewitness News. My name is Akusia Otri. The details now. The Association of Ghana Industries, AGI, is making a strong case for a reassessment of the Bank of Ghana's price stability policy, which enforces a bi-weekly exchange rate review at the ports. Well, according to AGI, the frequent fluctuations in exchange rates at the ports create uncertainty, driving up the cost of doing business and hindering Ghana's industrialization efforts. While speaking to Citi Business News, President of AGI, Dr. Humphrey Eyim Dake, stressed the need for political will to address exchange rate challenges, particularly at the ports.
It is so critical that the macroeconomic issue, singling out exchange rate, must be dealt with. And one of our propositions is to deal with it from the port of entry, where Bank of Ghana's policy on price stability, seeking to use that policy to deal with one of its mandates, must be looked at. Every 2 weeks mandate of price review of the exchange rate at the port, we think has a cascading effect on the macro front, and it distorts all the macro gains ever since we've been operating on this inflation target model using that price stability subject matter at the port of entry. That is point one, and it's a short-term measure we respectfully believe both parties, or whichever party is in power, should look at coming to 2025, because it has an empirical impact on all our operations, and our macros are distorted.
Well, Dr. Humphrey Eyim Dake also proposed alternative solutions for the government to consider in order to generate more foreign exchange.
We've set out a team to conduct a research on this. That will this make significant difference if this is extended or it stays as it is? What are the gains? Yes, there are gains to government because whenever the exchange rate factor changes, government revenue basket goes up. But what are the spill-offs? High inflation, imported inflation, deficit, and it goes to a cascading effect and affect the policy rate. And the inflation is driven, and the BOG deploys its monetary policies. We strongly believe that is one of the major issues that anybody who's seeking government to come into power to do. And then you also look at other options of remittances. What do you do to bring revenue, bring exchange revenue in? Before you go for export, it's easier to drive forex from tourism than even from production.
President of the Association of Ghana Industries, AGI, Dr. Humphrey Eyim Dake. Now, government is confident that it will stay on course for the third review of the $3 billion International Monetary Fund dollar-supported post-COVID-19 program for economic growth. Well, the IMF mission team is expected to arrive in the country on Tuesday, September 24, to commence the third assessment of Ghana's performance against the program's objectives. Well, so far, the country has been able to secure $1.56 billion of the total bailout package and remains optimistic in receiving the $1.44 billion. Here's the Minister of State at the Finance Ministry, Abinal Sayasari.
We are intentional on accelerating the macroeconomic reforms that sustains these macroeconomic improvements. From 24th September, we will engage our IMF partners on the third review of the IMF program. And we are confident that the assessment will once again confirm that we have stayed the course and performed well on all our key indicators. I must indicate that our relentless efforts to stay on course, despite substantial pressures, is driven by the determination to bring needed respite to Ghanaian households and businesses. We know that the surest way to sustain macroeconomic stability is to bolster SMEs to boost their growth and expand their business.
That was Minister of State at the Ministry of Finance, Abna Osei Asare. Now, the Bank of Ghana has called on banks to accelerate efforts to rebuild their capital buffers, a critical step to improving resilience and driving further economic growth. Well, this comes on the back of strong profit growth recorded by banks in the first half of 2024, following their successful navigation of significant losses incurred in 2022 due to the domestic debt exchange program. Well, Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, emphasized this during a recent address to members of the Ghana Association of Banks, signaling confidence in the sector's recovery.
Profitability, liquidity, and efficiency indicators also improved over the period. The capital adequacy ratio adjusted for reliefs remained at 14.3% between June 2023 and June 2024. Without reliefs, the CAR was reported at 10.6 in June 2024, which is higher than the 7.4% recorded in June 2023. The banking sector's half-year performance in 2024 has shown strong growth in profits and liquidity, showing an improved performance over the preceding year. If this trend persists, we expect banks to rebuild capital buffers quickly and remain resilient to give a further boost to our economy.
Governor of the Central Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison speaking there. Now, finally, Africa World Airlines has stated that it will strengthen its corporate social responsibility initiatives following its 12th anniversary celebration. Well, the airline company noted that in addition to providing clients with the required services, giving back to society will be a key strategic focus. While speaking to the media after the company distributed clothes and food to some street children in Accra, the brands and communications manager for the Africa World Airlines, Jocelyn Ando, hinted that the company will intensify its corporate social responsibility efforts.
Many years ago, we celebrate, every time we celebrate anniversary, we are focused on our customers. And of course, they are still part of this anniversary. But this time around, we said we wanted to give back to our community. We've been in operations in this particular vicinity for all of the 12 years that we've been operating. And we decided that it's time to give back to our community. And that is why we decided to do this for the street people around. Clearly, we will continue it. I mean, we are strengthening our CSR activities. In the past, we haven't made it that strong, but this time around, starting from this year, we are deciding to be very, very out there with our CSR activities. We are looking to do so much more. I mean, next time will be something else. We'll be definitely going to involve the media and everybody else to know what we are up to.
Brands and Communications Manager for Africa World Airlines, Jocelyn, and wrapping up the holiday edition of the City Business News on Eyewitness News. I am Akosia Archery. Do stay with us. Up next is Point Blank.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Kojo, I want to learn how to drive.
No problem at all, my dear. I will get Uncle Kofi to teach you. He taught my father and even me.
Bakojo pa, in this day and age.
Don't take chances when it comes to learning how to drive. Your best bet is Freight Masters Driving Institute. Freight Masters Driving Institute has qualified instructors who are dedicated to equipping you with the right skills for the road. Locate our office at Tema Community 5, adjacent Golden Chopsticks, or Tema Community 25 on the Deftraco Estate Road, Asaliboche, in the same building with Fidelity Bank, Westland, Hato, opposite Starbite Shell Filling Station, or on the Spintex Road, Aviation Highway Hydrophone Estate. Call us on 0303 973 388 or 0267 266 211. Visit our website www.freightmastersdriving.com. Freight Masters Driving Institute. Defensive driving with the right skills.
Are you feeling tired after a hard day's work? Have you lost your appetite even for your favorite dish? Viral Blood Tonic is a nutritionally balanced, pleasant-tasting tonic fortified with iron and vitamins to boost your appetite and energy levels for high performance. Viral Blood Tonic, easy to take and good for the whole family. Viral from Danex Iting Starwin PLC. If symptoms persist after 48 hours, consult a physician. This advert is FDA approved.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Attorney General Afretian Yeboah has been speaking on the upcoming legal year, the Office of the Attorney General's fight against illegal mining, and the plea bargain agreement by the nation. He spoke to our court correspondent Hansen Ajiman on these issues and others. Let's listen to that conversation.
We take it that this event is in preparation of the upcoming legal year.
Yes, that is exactly the point. We'll be starting next 2 weeks, and the prosecutors in the Republic who are within the Ministry of Justice will have to be trained, well-equipped, motivated, so that when they start a new legal year, they can do their work as attorneys.
Well, this new legal year is starting when we are going into a crucial election. How different will it be from other legal years?
Definitely, it's not going to be different from the other legal years. The only thing is that maybe from this time to December, people who may want to foment trouble will definitely be arrested by the police, and our office will have to prosecute such individuals. But if we were to be law-abiding and not foment trouble because of elections, definitely it will be just normal legal years that we're going to have.
Do we have enough numbers, as in from the Office of the Attorney General, considering this period, the kind of issues that may happen to handle them?
We have a reasonable number of attorneys in the regions, but I'll say we cannot say that number is enough. If you go to some of the regions, somewhere you have some of them, you have 5, 4, 10, and we need to beef up our numbers. But this notwithstanding, the numbers that we have there are people, men and women, who have been well equipped and trained and can meet every challenge that may come their way in the course of ensuring that people actually go by the laws of the Republic.
Has the Office of the Attorney General's attention been drawn to what has happened in Accra in the past 3 days? There's a protest by a group called Democracy Hub. The police already has arrested about 40 people already. Are you monitoring events there?
Yes. But just this morning, I've had information. We've processed the information that we have. The police are in the process of making sure that those people who are arrested and those that they think should be processed before court, we put before court this morning for the court to make a determination on their fate, whether to be remanded or to be granted bail. And our office will be in court to prosecute the matter.
So meaning you are getting ready to send these people to court?
This morning, I'm telling you, this morning, barring any last minute hitch, those who have been arrested and those that the police will identify as the culprits will be placed before court for their fate to be determined.
A section of the public appear to believe that such arrests and such prosecutions tend to stifle the right to protest.
The right to protest is not a license to engage in unlawful acts. If, for example, you are protesting, they've given you the route, you can shout, you can dance, you can even sleep, but you don't go to the extent of obstructing the public space, destroying public property, etc., etc. And so if you have the right to demonstrate or the right to free speech, it doesn't mean that it's a carte blanche that you can use to do anything and nobody will. Otherwise, we live in a banana republic.
But people say that this is a protest, that people seek to show a certain form of discomfort, and sometimes they need to send signs to those in authority, and those in authority should have a large stomach to be able to hold all these things.
That is true, but those in authority are also human beings, and those in authority also represent over 32 million Ghanaians. And so far as being trusted that kind of state power, and certain individuals may want to do things in their own way to destabilize the peace of the state. The police officer who is used to pay by the Republic will not sit down and allow you to do it.
The police have singled out one of its leaders. This is somebody your office already was prosecuting for treason offense. Per the information that came to you, did this also come to you?
I've watched some videos, and I also read from online portals that the police are looking for that gentleman you spoke about. Nobody's pronouncing him guilty. If it's true that he's being sought for, he must make himself available. Whatever charges that they may want, whatever allegation he has the right to also respond to same. I think it's part of due process.
But what will you say to Ghanaians who will usually often follow certain people and then engage in ways that the police appear not to agree with?
Yes, if you are taking part in any demonstration, you must make sure that you go by the rules of the demonstration. If you're also a leader, and the police they've identified you as the leader of any the demonstrating group, you must make sure that you bring your people in line with the rules set. If you are the leader and you decide to let your followers do what they want, at the end of the day, you are the one that they can identify. The right to demonstrate is a fundamental right, I concede. Free speech is a fundamental right. But if you take Article 12 of our Constitution, it tells you that all the rights that we have are subject to public safety and public interest. And so if you are demonstrating, ask yourself, since you are expressing your opinion, would that also not infringe on the rights of others? If it's not going to infringe on the rights of others, who should harass you?
But they argue that often than not, for instance, if a foreign envoy is coming to the country, certain key roads can be blocked, sometimes for days. And if citizens are protesting against something and they ask for some roads, in this particular instance, they were asking for the entire stretch between 37 Military Hospital and the Jubilee House to be blocked for the purpose of their protest. Why, when it comes to these ceremonial events, we are eager to block these roads, but when it comes to exhibiting a right like the right to protest, then we seem not to agree with them?
That decision is made by those in the intelligence community. They have the facts and they know why they take certain decisions. If at a point in time it's necessary for them to open up, they will open up. But based on the information that they have, they can also say we're going to restrict it because of what we have also noticed. If you go to advanced world, I don't think you can just go anyhow. Whatever the case, you will be regulated. And so if you're being regulated, don't turn yourself into the regulator. For example, don't turn yourself as if you just want to do what you want to do. Let's follow due process. As I stated, I like to repeat, the right to demonstrate is a fundamental right.
How interested is the Office of the Attorney General in the rights of protesters? Because we've heard claims where they say protesters were manhandled. A 62-year-old woman was arrested, and the 8-year-old girl was arrested as part of this. How interested is the Office of the Attorney General interested in the abuse of the rights of Ghanaians?
The police, in an attempt to ensure that demonstrators go by the set rules, also do not have the license to abuse the rights of the demonstrators. And so if the rights of the demonstrators are abused, we have the mechanisms that we can use in addressing such issues. And so our brothers and sisters in the uniform, they've also been trained. They know how to handle crowd, people who take part in demonstrations. But if there's any abuse, our office, being the Ministry of Justice, is also ready to look at those issues.
But what can you do? Because you know the police will build a docket against those they've arrested. Those who have been abused, how can the Office of the Attorney General help other than they go in the civil way?
It's a matter of evidence. You can't just say your rights have been abused where you don't have that evidence. But there are other state institutions around. One of them being Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice. Even if you do not want to approach any other, you can go to that constitutional body. If you don't want to go to court, you can also approach that constitutional body. And so all those who claim that their rights have been abused as a result of their decision to take part in demonstrations should also come out. You come out with the evidence, and if actually your rights were abused, the mechanisms that we have under our Constitution will make sure that those matters are addressed.
But I'm interested in the Office of the Attorney General, and because the Ministry of Justice, and we've seen in situations where the office have reviewed dockets and asked the police to look at other places. I mean, this is not about a year ago, a similar protest was held where there were concerns of human rights abuse perpetrated by the men in uniform. Can't the Office of the Attorney General say instruct for investigations into that aspect?
When it comes to human rights abuses, maybe you may not know how the relationship that we have with the police service. Occasionally, the Attorney General and the leadership of city agencies, they also meet. They review all the incidents that have taken place in the country. And so if there is any evidence of human rights abuse, and that matter is brought to the doorstep of the AG, it will be addressed. In fact, instances where people have sued the state, and anytime they sue the state, they sue the instance where we just tell them this one is not something that we can defend. So there must be a way to ensure that that person is compensated. So in appropriate cases that we think that rights have been abused, we advise the authorities to do the right thing.
Can you recount any notable event in the past year or 2 years where the Office of the Attorney General has done this?
But you remember, this is the Dra one. A lot of things happened, and the victims, we had some compensation for them, because the AG had to recommend that, looking at what the commission had come out with, there was the need for let's also the state to also compensate them. And there are others. Sometimes even private individuals, they sue, which I cannot give you the list right here, but I sometimes advise the state agencies that this matter is not a matter that we can fight in court. Let's go into negotiation with them and then have it done.
We'll come back to what is happening here today, but they are protesting against the destruction of our river bodies and water bodies by Galamsey, and they said there have been inaction on the part of state agencies, including the Office of the Attorney General. Is that true from your part?
Inaction, I disagree. But if you go to pollution of water bodies, that one I agree. Massive pollution, our forest reserve. People want to make money out of 32 million people. So other 32 million people will just go hungry, will go without water. But when it comes to prosecution of Galamsey matters, we have over 100 cases pending. We have over 800 accused persons who are undergoing various forms of prosecution. We have over 80 people, if not 70 to 80 people, who have also been convicted and either serving their sentences or have served their sentences or they've paid fines. So the AG's office is actually doing what we are supposed to do as an agency. My worry has to do with getting evidence. People may make the allegations. You are not getting the evidence. You can't go to court with conjectures. But if you want to get the evidence and whoever is involved, we are ready to prosecute such a person.
The criticism is that usually the people you prosecute are the low-hanging fruits. The allegations of people who are politically exposed, who are involved in illegal mining or mining illegally.
I've already expressed an opinion somewhere about a month or 3 or a year ago that I would have wished that the big fish that we're talking about, we're able to get some of them hardcore evidence to prosecute. But some of these young men that use the low-hanging fruits, you get them arrested and they are not ready to even disclose. Because I know most of them, I know people who can even buy the tie of an excavator. But you go there, they are the people using the excavator. They are arrested and they are not ready to disclose. So that system where people be ready and willing to offer information, that's something that we must all be encouraging. Because now, if you really don't want to disclose your identity, you can be protected.
But we know in instances where there are sophisticated crimes, and for instance, there are issues of money laundering, you ask for interagency collaborations to investigate. It appears that the crime of illegal mining is appearing to be one. Have you made any sort of directions like that?
Oh yes, there must always that kind of collaboration. If you don't do it, you cannot get what you need to prosecute that matter. So the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, very key. EPA, very key. Minerals Commission, very key. And other agencies. What I would rather now plead is that the communities where these individuals are destroying our water bodies and forests, they must rather sit up and help the state in getting those who are wreaking havoc on the state. Because there's no town or village in this country which does not have a chief. There is no town or electoral area in Ghana that does not have an assemblyman. But if all of them will come together and then take part in this fight, which is also an essential threat, because if you're able to fight it, I can assure you it's not going to help the future of this nation. And so we must all come on board.
Can the Office of the Attorney General do any more than it is doing now?
What we can do is to ensure that those who are arrested are prosecuted. But before we do the prosecution, it is the duty of the police to investigate. And so that bit is something that we also want to look at, how we can also assist. Because if you do not get proper investigations done, you cannot get a proper docket to prosecute.
Is it time we give an investigative function to the Office of the Attorney General?
I think it is something that we can discuss. If you go to the US, investigators, they are under a DOJ. And so if Ghana, we may want to look at it from that point of view, so that we can also have our investigators and then direct them on what to do. That's something that can also be discussed. But if we can also not have our own investigators, then there must be a mechanism to help the police service equip the investigators who are doing a yeoman's job. But the whole thing is that because they are also limited in some way, they are unable to do most of the things, because now crimes have become so sophisticated. The fight against Galamsey, to me, we must involve more technology than even the human skills that we are using, so that we can get people set life just from somewhere. You can get people who are involved in that, zoom on them, and then we will maybe effect some arrest. So all these things are things that we all need to look at. But there's one issue. When it comes to the law, the Minerals and Mining Act, now if you seize any mining equipment that was being used illegally, that's Galamsey equipment being used for Galamsey, you can confiscate the equipment only when the court has convicted the person who owns or who was using that equipment. So our confiscation is what we call the conviction-based confiscation. We have instances where you go to the forest or riverside, and then those people who own those machines have bolted. You go and take these excavators. Now there's no one to prosecute. So how do you get a conviction and then confiscate those machines to the state? And so there's an attempt to also look at the Minerals and Mining Act, where that conviction bit will be taken off, and that when you are arrested, if you are not arrested, you bolt away, and then we get the equipment, the law will permit that equipment to be confiscated to the state, notwithstanding the fact that no one has been prosecuted.
Now, we know that today you're dealing with plea bargain. In the just present history, we know of Atu Asian. Is it the same thing?
This one is slightly different. If you take our Courts Act, there is a provision where if you're charged with an offense that has caused financial loss to the state, you can come and say, I plead guilty to the offenses, but in lieu of me being sentenced into prison custody, I want to make some concessions, either to refund that money and make some compensation to the state. So under the Courts Act, that one is specific. You must plead guilty. But when it comes to the Plea Bargaining Act, you need not plead guilty. You may say you may plead guilty to offense A, and then we withdraw offense B against you. Or you may say, I don't want to plead guilty to any offense, but I want a lesser offense to plead guilty to, which we agree. Or you may say, I may want to compensate the victim or the complainant or the state. I'm not going to plead guilty, so that you withdraw the charges against me. Or I'm going to plead guilty to the offenses, but instead of taking me to 10, 15, 20 years imprisonment, I want to be fined. So these are the mechanics of the plea. So that's different from what we have under the Atu Asian matter that you raised.
So are all offenses open to this?
Not all offenses. Sexual offenses, if you go about defiling and raping, this act does not give you that. Murder does not give you. Robbery does not give you that. So there are offenses that have been just accepted from the act, and for that matter, you cannot take advantage of the Plea Bargaining Act.
So once I've been charged with murder, I cannot say plead guilty to manslaughter.
That's another process. Because if you take the Act 30, there's a system where you may want to go and plead guilty to manslaughter. But when it comes to murder itself, you cannot plead guilty to murder, because murder, the punishment is death. Fine, now it's not death, it's life imprisonment. So manslaughter, you can.
Now, who can initiate? Who can initiate this?
Principally, is the accused person who must initiate, because the accused person is the person who is facing the charges, and he has his lawyer, and having gone through his lawyer, he may want to say, this is what I want to offer the state. So it's a bargain between the state and the accused person. Depending on the offer that the accused person makes, the state can also respond. If the offer is good, the state will accept. If the offer is not good, the state will not accept. But if the offer is even good, and the state realizes that it is not in the interest of the state to accept that offer, the state has the right to reject it, especially habitual criminals.
To what extent do you involve the complainant or the victim?
Yes, per the law, the victim must have a say. And so before the state accepts that offer, the victim must be consulted. The victim may want to say, I agree. The victim may want to say, I do not agree. The law requires him to give reasons. And if he gives the reason, we still think that we the state, will have to agree. We also include it in the plea agreement that even though the accused person, the complainant is against the terms, the state thinks that these are the best terms for it will not be left to the judge to look at it and then come to a conclusion of the matter.
You heard Deputy Attorney General Alfred Chanyebua speaking to our court correspondent Hansen Ajiman, ending tonight's edition of Eyewitness News. My name is Umaru Sanda Amadu. I did this with Akosia Ochri, production by Kobina Wilson, technical support from Emmanuel Lati, new media support from Edwin Kwakofi. We return tomorrow at 17:30 GMT. Happy Kwame Nkrumah Day to you all. Good night.
City News. We speak first. Reach our hotline on 0302 224959 and get interactive on Facebook, City 97.3 FM, and on Twitter at City 973.
Channel 1 TV is live on DSTV, GoTV, and HD+. On DSTV, find us on Channel 363. On GoTV, we're on Channel 117. And on HD+, get us on Channel 108. On a digital TV, run a new search. But take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Channel 1 TV. Channel 1 TV can be accessed on any free-to-air digital box, like the DSTV and HD+ boxes. Channel 1 TV, telling your story, empowering change.
At the name of Jesus, every knee should bow and every tongue should confess. Philippians 2 verse 10-11. Royal House Chapel International invites you to Convention of Saints 2024 under the theme Every Tongue Should Confess. It's happening from Tuesday 1st October through to Sunday 6th October, 5:30 p.m. each night. There will be 2 services on Sunday 6th October, morning service at 8 a.m. and communion, anointing and impartation service at 5:30 p.m. Speakers are Reverend Emmanuel